All right. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Serious Angler Podcast, powered by our friends over at X2 Power Batteries. We are post Christmas here, back with the captain, Mr. Andy Full. As always, I'm your host, Bailey Egbrett. Andy, how's your Christmas, man? Nora's first Christmas.
Nora's first Christmas, Emery's fifth Christmas, even though she's only 4.5. Like, I don't know how that math makes sense, but I'm pretty sure it's
I
a
don't
fifth.
think that makes sense.
Well, because she was a half-year-old, right? So maybe it's her fourth. I don't know. I was trying to
Yeah.
figure that out, but had a lot of cold medicine and beers the last few days. So, we're doing okay. The brain's a little fried and we're hanging in there. No, everything was great. Kids are going nuts. Nora is now crawling everywhere and she's like an uncontrollable monster. So if you want her, you can have her from time to time.
You're
And
not really giving a good sell here.
your cat would love her because she just chases the cat around when the cat's like visible. So yeah,
That's
toys
funny.
are nothing. Cat is everything.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's
That's good, man. I'm glad to hear it was a
joyous. How
good
was
time.
yours?
It was good, dude. I'm kind of in the same boat where the wife and I basically said we've had so much alcohol and cookies and junk food the past like 3 days that it's gonna be straight like a dry January and nothing but salad because our honeymoon's in February.
Yeah.
Joking about that, but I'm sitting here as my dad's a freaking. I've been telling him. So we joked about this. Goes back to Black Friday, where my parents live in Florida. My brother lives in Utah, and my dad went out and bought himself a PS5. And he was kind of pondering on the idea. He's like, "Oh yeah, we used to play, Call of Duty and all that stuff as kids together and play Madden and all that." I'm like, "Yeah, that'd be kind of fun, a way for us to like still talk and like, do stuff together when we're not in the same state." And but I'm like, I just have no time for it. And the freaking bastard gets me a PS5 for Christmas. So I was playing
Did
that
you
for
get Josh
5 hours
too?
today. Yeah, it gets my brother one too, which my brother already has an Xbox.
Oh boy.
But nonetheless, super appreciative of it. And it's just going to be more of a self-discipline for me to get my stuff done so I can go and play Call of Duty with Pops when we're both done working type of deal. But it's a really good Christmas. Whole family was here. First time, the newlyweds they made host it.
Yeah, how
So
was hosting?
we definitely need a bigger house, 1000%. But nonetheless, we pulled it off. I shouldn't say we. My wife did. She is a miracle worker. She did all the cooking, everything. I was just kind of like the guy that stood there and said hello to people and asked, "Hey, do you need a beer?" And that's basically all my purpose was on Christmas. But nonetheless, it was awesome. Had the whole gang here, and hopefully everybody that's tuning in here and our guests for today had a good Christmas. Our guest for today, his first Christmas as well as a married man, Mr. Wes Logan, who we'll get on here in a second. But Andy, it's kind of the the post Christmas here in New York is the dark time of year where it's pretty. There's basically no bass fishing whatsoever.
You have
Very
steelhead.
lucky. Yes,
Long
we're talking
leg
bass.
steelhead, yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I went fishing today while I was guiding today, but yeah, the only bass we have right now is in the Great Lakes, and they're biting if we have a good day to get out there. But
If
yeah,
although it's been like it was weird. I mean, last year to this year was polar opposite Christmases because last year we had 7 feet of snow in the teens, and this year was 50s and rain, where it didn't even really feel like Christmas. It was super odd. But nonetheless, a great Christmas. Anytime you guys can spend with quality folks, family, friends, it's obviously well worth it. But uh, the new year is coming upon us, 2024, in 5 days here. And so what we wanted to do, obviously, before everybody gets out their New Year's resolution shows, we wanted to do a best of 2023. And then we're not going to go out and list like what we think is best overall industry wide. We're going best off of our personal experience from 2023. What was the best performing soft bait we used for 2023? Best performing rod and reel, things like that. We're gonna kind of roll through there and have some fun with it too, and have some highlight moments from the year, but also some big fails. and we'll have some fun with that. But I think without further ado, before we start rolling into all of that, let's get on our guest for today, Mr. Wes Logan. What's going on, man?
What's up, fellas? How are you?
Good, buddy. How's the? We talked about it a little bit offline, but how's the married life treating you?
Oh, it's awesome, dude. I love it. I love it. But like we talked about it a little bit earlier, nothing's really changed, but except wearing that ring every day.
Yeah, it gets heavy after a while, especially if you have a tungsten one.
Yeah,
like
yeah. I went all gold. So
you're smart.
I went old school.
Bougie.
I don't know about that. I don't know. That.
Well, I'll tell you what. You had from the pictures you and Riley been posting, it looked like a pretty dang cool wedding that you guys had. Was it Utah?
Yeah, it was an interesting little deal. We actually went to Utah to Arches National Park and kind of did our own little thing as far as the actual ceremony and all that good stuff. And then we came back, and like a month later, we had all our friends and family and all that good stuff. So it's basically like we just had a reception, so there was no stress. It was a really good time. We watched some college football during it. It was really a blast, honestly.
Yeah, y'all did it right.
Yeah, everybody I didn't really know how it was going to go. Obviously, we never done it before, but everybody was like, well, if I could go back, I would do it exactly like y'all are doing it. And I'm like, well, we'll see. And it was pretty stress free. It wasn't bad at all.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome. I definitely wouldn't change a thing about ours, but I was showing my wife some of your guys' pictures, and she was
okay.
Jealous. Andy's dying over here.
Yeah, we're just
Yeah, I'm good. Okay. I'm trying to mute myself as I'm coughing.
Sure, Andy, we can put your dying front.
Yeah, that's perfect.
He just falls out. We're just still talking.
It comes in waves. It literally comes in waves.
Don't it?
If he falls off his chair, we'll just get rid of him, and we'll just we'll leave the suspense. What happened to Andy?
Oh man, no, we're good. Just the cough that won't go away. So
yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, thanks.
I didn't mean to throw everybody down a rabbit hole. That's my bad. That was my bad.
Hey, it's the foundation of this show is being thrown to a completely different topic. But how'd the wedding or not wedding? Good grief, we just talked about the Christmas for you guys. Everything
was good. It was pretty laid back. We didn't really do a whole lot. And we didn't. We just got some small gifts. We didn't really go all out because of all the money that we spent and stuff. So we kind of tried to hold back on that, just some little sentimental stuff, but hung out with some family and just had a good time like I hope everybody else.
Heck yeah, man. We have a comment here that says $20 if Andy takes your shirt off. At $20 is $20, man.
That's after dark, all right? Like,
yeah, that was the Christmas special. Which, if you guys did not catch that, we definitely had some fun for our Christmas special. Feel free to pass any judgment from anything you hear on that show. But Wes, we're going to talk a little bit about our best of 2023. And like I was saying a little bit earlier, it wasn't like what we think was the best reel on the market type of deal. It was like, what was the best for us this past year? So we're going to start diving into that a little bit. But before we do, you obviously had a crazy off season from getting some repairs on yourself and getting hitched and all that. But are you ready for 2024? I mean, dude, you got like what, maybe a month before you got to be on the road?
Yeah. Boat just got rigged up last week. I rigged my own boat. I do. The only thing I don't do to it is Bucks Island puts my jack plate on there, and then I do everything else. I run all my wire and all that stuff just because. And people ask me like, "Well, so and so can do it," and I wouldn't mind somebody else doing it. I just like to know like how everything's ran. If you were to have a problem, I'd know where to I can diagnose it really quick. So got that done. Got to fish a little bit this weekend with my gimped up hand. It went pretty good and. I don't know. Yeah, I'm actually I'm fishing the Elite Series and the MPFL this year. So I'll actually start. I got a tournament at the end of January, right here by the house. So I'm kind of excited about that. That'll be the kickoff for the year. Hope we can start it off pretty good.
Have you announced that you're fishing MPFL yet this year?
Probably just now.
Dang. All right.
Breaking news.
Yeah.
Hot off the press.
There's We've had a insider, if you will, somebody that's been relaying some big names that was fishing the NPFL, and I heard yours thrown around, but wasn't for sure. But you just brought it back up, so it's pretty cool to hear that you're fishing that, man. Briefly, because we've talked about it a bunch in the show, but how's that schedule looking for you?
Oh, it's not bad. I mean, I was actually I just wanted to fish more, like fish tournaments more, and I didn't really want to go down the opens road again because I did that, and I just don't want to go through that again. I mean, if I was having to qualify to get back or whatever, that's a whole different deal. But just going fishing, I thought that was the best, fit for what I wanted to do, to have a few extra tournaments. And I mean, the lakes are going to be really good, and I think we're going to hit them at a really good time of year. They could, they could show out a little bit as far as fish, the weight and fish catches and stuff. So I'm excited about that. And when the elite schedule is a little bit probably not right up my alley, from what I can tell. But you never know. It's a lot of it's weather depending, though. Everybody always says, "Man, what do you think about the schedule?" I'm like, "Well, it could be flooding or it could be 20 degrees and freaking 40-foot low. Who knows when you get there?" So
yeah, for sure.
It's more weather depending than actually where we're at most of the time.
Right. Well, that's gonna be exciting, man. I know we're looking forward to once the roster comes out. It might even be out. I've honestly. To be frank with everyone, the past week or so, I made a small post on Serious Angler about it, but like I have just been tapped. As soon as the holiday break came from work, I basically was like, I'm going to get our posts up that need to be up, but then I am just going to exit from social media for a little while.
Yeah.
And honestly, it felt really good, but also it was a bad thing because now I'm too comfortable with it and I got to get back in the system here. But
yeah, it's easy. Like I haven't posted near as much as I should have the last, 8 or 10 days, but like you get pulled so many different ways family wise, and you don't want to be worried about what's on your phone when you're hanging out with people you don't really get to see a lot. So it's, I don't think it's just one or two people. I think the majority of our industries it slacks off a little bit, which is, that's no big deal. I mean, that's part of it.
Yeah, it's that time of year.
Yeah,
it's just
sure.
When my parents drive 21 hours up to come see
Correct.
me, I'm not going to be sitting on my phone all week.
Yeah, yeah. Worried about who's liking your Instagram post or something like it. They can get over it.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. But I did have somebody that reached out to me on my personal because I hadn't posted in over a week. And usually I'm very active on that, and they asked me if I was okay. So I appreciate the person that reached out.
You good, bro?
Yeah, I was like, I appreciate you asking. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, I am obnoxious on social media. I apologize. But it was actually pretty funny.
Good looking out, man. Like,
yeah. It was awesome. Nice to see that somebody cared.
Just one
person. But hey, the one person means the world. We're good. All right, let's start hopping into some of this stuff, and we honestly might even come up with some categories that I didn't even think of here. But I got about 10 or so that we'll roll through. And what we'll do is we list the category, like say our best soft bait for us this year. Obviously, name what it is, and then roll out kind of like a brief why. Like if there was if there was a certain style you lean towards this year, things like that. So let's lead off with that, and it's our best soft bait of 2023. And just to kind of get the ball rolling here, I won't just throw you guys into the wind here and make you answer it. So I'll roll through, seeing as though obviously I've had time to put this together. But for me in 2023, my best performing bait for me from a tournament standpoint and fish catching was the Mega Bass Mag Draft. That one for me caught a lot of 5+ pound fish, especially in tournament kicker fish for me this year. And close behind that, I spent a lot of time with it was that new Spro KGB Chad Shad throwing the glide bait a bunch this year. Kind of trying to just more target, not that a 6-inch mag draft's a big bait anymore these days. I think maybe 5-10 years ago they'd say a 6-inch swim bait is on the bigger side, but nowadays that's small. But nonetheless, like that just seems to always get bit and catch bigger fish too. But definitely performed well for me in tournaments, out of tournaments, all year round, really. But it's the mag draft for me. What about you, Wes?
Yeah, it's gonna from a fish catching standpoint, like a tournament bait. It's gonna be a Zoom Z-Crawl Junior, and it's just because I can use it. I used it so many ways to catch some all year. Like you can use it as a jig trailer, a swim jig trailer. I throw it on a buzz bait. I flip it. I use it on a punch skirt. Like I caught almost a 4-pounder at Sabine on a buzz bait and caught the rest of them flipping it Like it's just that versatile of a bait. And I mean, I know at Champlain I caught some punching with a 1 ounce with a punch skirt on it that you can put it on the back of it, and then that's just what I swim a jig with most of the time. So it's just so versatile, and I mean it's got so many great colors. It's a bait that I always have tied on, and it'll probably would be my number one pick, last year and next year probably.
I like it.
I feel like that bait, like when you look at either opens or back with FLW and then now MLF and the guys that do like the top 10 baits, and anyone that's either swimming a jig or throwing a buzz bait has that on the trailer.
Yep, absolutely. Yep. Yeah, for sure. And what's weird is I used to like before I was ever on the elites or anything, just around home, I would flip a menace, a Strike King menace, and I've tried to like catch them on that still, and I don't like the way it's the same profile bait, but the body style is a little different. So the Z-Crawl Junior kind of floats through the water, where that menace is more of like a straight down, because I guess it's so slender. But I just like the gliding and stuff of that Z-Crawl Junior body a lot more.
Yeah.
It's got a little flatter, wider body, right?
Yes. Yeah. It's ribbed. I mean, it's still a real skinny body, but it's got the ribs on it, so it has a totally different action.
Makes sense.
Which makes it good. Which makes it good with a buzz bait too, because it's got that flatter, profile. Gets it up on top of the water a lot faster.
I like that.
Heck yeah.
But I would say my close second is the Zoom Unitoad. I caught a lot on it, and I don't feel like a lot of people are throwing it, and I can't really figure out why. But
is that the new one that came out like last year?
Yeah,
that was like basically specifically for buzz baits.
Yeah, but it's more of you would throw it. I've been throwing it more in like a skinny dipper situation, like around pads and stuff. Like every bass I weighed in at Seminole come off of it, and then I caught some at Champlain on it, but I caught some at Okeechobee on it. And Cobb was throwing it a lot on the back of his swim jig too, but it's not really like I think a lot of people think it's designed for like a big easy type bite, where it's more of like a slow roll and like more swimming it than that buzzing type deal.
What is it called again?
Hell, dude, my mind just went blank.
Uni something, right?
Unitoad.
I got it.
Yeah, Zoom Unitoad.
I'll share screen fast for people that are
just put watching. A peg like a 1 ounce or an 1/8 ounce weight on it with a 5-volt EWG Gamma. It's game on.
That thing's sick.
Dude, it swims so good. Like it rocks. So it don't roll, it don't spin when you like
just slow rolling it.
Dude, it just rocks. It's awesome.
I feel like this is one of those baits I've seen several instances in the past year or so, and I'm like, yeah, that looks pretty good. And it's one of those where I'm just like too lazy to buy it, and it's gonna come back to bite me where I need to buy it.
They bite that thing. I can't figure out why people aren't throwing it as much, but it's a getter. Like
what it looks like, it's got that same whatchamacallit, buzz frog body too that skips like a dream.
Oh yeah. That's actually, I think Cobb had a big, in designing it, and he actually made it to skip docks with it, like Hartwell and Greenwood and stuff, like on a shad spawn deal. So that's kind of what it was designed for, but it's really good around grass like that. That's a sneaky one.
Sneaky bastard.
I like it. Yeah. Putting in the cart now.
Yeah. Add to cart.
Yeah.
I dig it. Andy, what about you, man?
All right. I had 2, and it's more like seasonal based. I started off the year really strong, throwing a baby Z2 on a drop shot and also a Demiki. And there's a couple of like things that we did to them to get more bites with them, which we'll save that for another day. But sneaky stuff. Bailey knows what I'm talking about.
Don't give it all out.
So baby Z2 is huge. I think we put 10 or 11 over 6 on it in the month of May, just on that bait alone, on guide trips and fun fishing. And then as the summer progressed, I actually got away from a flatworm quite a bit, and I started throwing like a Hasdonk shad a lot more on a drop shot. And in the fall, in July and in the fall, it helped us get like multiple top 3 tournaments and a victory. So it's a good sneaky drop shot bait. Yeah.
Put that back down.
Yeah. Stop showing that.
Sorry. But yeah.
No. They're all good. They're both of those. Man, what flatworms kind of like, they still bite it, but it's not what it was.
Yeah, you need a rotation of baits.
Yeah.
And it's because everyone's throwing it.
Yeah.
Definitely seems like certain areas they are okay, this hour they're gonna eat a flatworm. The next hour they'll eat a flat nose minnow, and then the rest of the day they're not gonna eat anything Matt said.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like I have like 3 different max scent baits on the deck, drop shotting when I'm fishing a derby or fun fishing. Then on the other side of my deck, I'll have like 4 different other plastics just to rotate through fish,
Mm-hmm.
and eventually they'll bite one of them. I'm convinced. So
Stupid smallmouth.
yeah, they are pretty dumb.
They're not your friends still, Wes?
They're getting smarter though.
They are.
They're
It was
getting
it
smarter.
was pretty crazy when I came up. We had that X2 deal after St. Lawrence, and I went out with Josh Douglas. Was interesting on the American side, and it was like all around him, like should be catching him, and it was like watch him go down every single time on active target, and it was just like, yep, we're gonna get bit. Nope, never mind, we're not getting bit. And it was like that for a couple hours. It was crazy. We were like, these fish should be eaten. Shocker, they don't magically eat on forward-facing sonar.
Yeah.
And then went to Canada with Hamner, and I was like, same exact scenario, except they would eat it 2 feet under the surface, come rocketing up. It was just like, it's funny how pressure plays so heavily into stuff like that, especially smallmouth. But I guarantee you, though, those American fish, you just give them a week or 2 of just leaving them alone, and they'll be back to being dumb. Yeah. Spring, they'll be dumb again. Yeah. Brought to you by Andy's dying on the show.
I couldn't get there in time. I tried.
No, you're good. All right, let's go hard bait. Wes, we'll leave it with you on this one.
Probably hard bait.
We can always come back to.
Yeah, come back.
Come back.
I got 2, and I don't know which one I want to say.
I mean, you can do both.
Yeah, just circle back. Circle back.
Andy, you want to take this one?
All right. So hard bait, I got 2, and like it's seasonality for me. In the spring, it was a jerk bait. I think I had it in my hands while I was fishing shallow, like 99.8% of the time. I know, really specific number, right? And it was I can't remember the MS Black Shad Vision 110+1. Put a ton of fish in the boat for me in the spring. And then when we got to late summer, transition into fall, it actually became a spy bait with forward-facing sonar, and watch them come up off the bottom and smoke a spy bait. That was really fun. So Prism Gill was the color. I'll say that. So yeah.
Another one you should stop talking. No,
sorry.
Yeah, this guy.
You know, you guys, appreciate you joining. We're gonna end the show right here. We're gonna call it a night.
Yeah.
This is a bad idea. No,
Yeah, this was a terrible idea. Actually.
Terrible idea for Wes.
Yeah.
Oh, it's funny. For me, hard bait wise, it's a toss up between 2, but it's basically essentially the same category of bait.
You can't use swim baits anymore.
No, I'm not using swim baits.
Cut you off.
I know. It's a deeper diving crankbait for me, where I had spring bite, summer bite, all the way into the fall. A mainstay for the past couple of years, Andy's fault, was that OSP Blitz. I can't remember the specific model, the deeper one, the bigger one.
Oh, the Max DR.
Yes, whatever Andy says, it's probably the correct. I don't even know the dang bait name, but I'm throwing it. But one that has done really well in certain situations, where I found actually several where the OSP wouldn't work. And I promise this isn't just a plug because I work for Pure Fishing, but it's a Berkeley Money Badger. That new bait is actually pretty unique. It's more on that cold side. It seems like you can burn the living hell out of it, and it will not blow out, just kind of like an OSP. But there was whatever reason, there were certain situations, kind of got that spoon bill. Something pretty unique. But I don't know. I haven't been able to put my finger on it just yet why it'll work when the OSP won't, because they've made colors that are very, very much the same, and will work just fine. So I don't know. Berkeley Money Badger. I think if you got the funds, highly recommend trying that out. And yeah, this guy Blaze or Bust. Blaze, that color's freaking legit. Yeah. Wes, what about you?
It's gonna have to be my outlaw, man. Like
Saw that coming.
It's solid. Like, I'm sorry, it's not like an everyday thing. Obviously, you're not gonna go out there and catch them on a spook or a topwater like a walking bait every day. But like when that bite's going down, it's hard to not throw that one out there. And maybe it's just a confidence thing, but it gets bit from I think I caught some on it this past year, like late February, and then obviously some schooling fish in the summertime, and then the fall. It here it comes. I mean, it's wide open.
Yeah, that outlaw is nice. I remember the first smallmouth you caught on an outlaw.
Yes. That is not the last smallmouth that's been caught on an outlaw. I can assure you.
Oh man, that fish was wild.
It was. Yep.
People say I'm starting to sound like Rudd after I plug Berkeley one time. Sue me. That thing's legit though, dude. What you might have said it and I wasn't even paying attention. What color? Do you have a preferred?
Normally, I mean, I throw the better than bone one. That's my go-to. Unless if it's real sunny, you throw a chrome one. But most conditions, 90% of the time, I throw the better than bone, or the regular bone is really good too. The better than bone is more like a chalk white, and then the bone is it's more of a yellow, more of a yellow tint to it, or like a normal bone.
It's like a difference between vanilla and French vanilla.
Yes, pretty much. Should have named them that. That's a really good name. French vanilla.
Where total sidebar, but where would you throw this black and blue color?
I throw it in Florida.
Florida.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I caught some on the Pawpaw and I haven't thrown that one down there, but that was actually Louis, the owner. He come up with that deal, and it does catch them down there. Like I've never thrown it until this past year down there, and I caught some on it.
I love
Picture
a black
like
popper.
a low light. Yeah, like a low light.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be afraid to throw black and sun either. They'll come up and get it because it silhouettes really well.
Yeah. I was about to say it'd probably be really good on a smallmouth deal too. Real calm, slick calm or something.
I'll have to try that.
I've caught a lot of big largemouth throwing a black popper and like slick, middle of the day, sunny days over grass flats.
Yeah.
Just pure black.
I want to give that a shot. All right. We can make this either a combo, or if you have anything individual from a rod and reel standpoint. If you had one that you felt like you were using and catching more fish throughout the majority of the year than any others. If you have those, but if there's any other models, obviously, that you feel like you want to plug to, that you felt like need some love, obviously let that rip. I'll kick this one off in saying that my favorite rod that I have been using, and because it seems like I'm using it for so many different applications, from either dragging to flipping in certain situations to throwing a mag draft on it to whatever. It's a Abu Garcia Fantasista X 7'6" medium heavy. I just feel like it's super universal, and I like that longer. I know some guys like to keep it around a 7'2", 7'3", for whatever reason. That 7'6", 7'5", I'm a big fan of. It seems like I get a little bit longer when it comes to fishing rods year after year. But a reel that I think, and I think Tackle Talk, Andrew Hayes talked about it a bunch on his the Swimmies, his awards show he did. But the Corrado K, I think, is still one of the best bang for your buck reels on the market, especially now that you can get them for like 120, 130 bucks because the new Corrado M is out. But that Corrado K, dude, I got like freaking 10 of them at this point. They're bulletproof, don't break, and you can use them for pretty much damn everything.
Yes, sir.
What about you, Andy?
The rod for me, well, I actually have two. One, they're both Alpha Angler rods. One is a spy bait rod that everyone knows. They follow my social media. That's like the only rod I ever talk about. And the second rod that I think I've like truly fallen in love with this year is the Zilla, which is the 7.3 medium heavy casting rod. Not the Vader. I love the Vader for one thing and one thing only, and that's flipping and jig. But the Zilla, like, I can throw fluoro, braid, I can frog with it, flip with it, whatever I need to do, swim jig. It's the best overall all-around rod they make, and that thing is awesome.
Heck yeah. Wes?
So this past year, I've actually gotten to design my own rods from art that's going to be available at the Classic this year. And I've made one I've designed it for a swim jig. It's a 7.5 medium heavy, but it's good. You could use it for a lot of things. Like I threw a mag draft on it a lot, a whopper plopper, a buzz bait. I skipped docks with it. Like it's it's not too stiff to not be able to do a lot of stuff with it. It would be real good like an offshore rod, like dragging a worm, dragging a football jig, stuff like that. So it's just a really good all around rod. And I mean, the length may turn people off a little bit, but it's got a short enough handle where it's not going to get in your way, like skipping and stuff like that. But it's a really good rod that I caught a lot of bass on this year, and it's pretty solid. I'm really excited about it, and I like the name of it too. It's called 100K is what I called it because I won 100,000 swimming a swim jig, so I figured I'd call it 100K.
That's pretty dope.
But yeah, and then Art came out with their line of G series reels is really good. I mean, I use all the G7s and G5s mostly, but they're lower end. We have a G3, a G5, and a G7, and we've actually just come out with a G1, which is like a $69 retail reel that is probably one of the better feeling, cheaper side reels that I've ever put in my hand. Like it. And it's no, that's. I mean, obviously it's a plug because I mean, they're one of my main sponsors, but it's a really good reel. Like I was very impressed with what he did with it.
That whole G3, the G numbers, you're hitting on some hunting SEO guys that are looking up.
Yeah. They're like, why are we getting all this traffic?
Yeah. That's funny, dude. That's pretty sick though. I could be mistaken here, but did they come out with a spinning reel too this year?
Yes. I think it's going to be released. I've got them, and I think I've got the finished product on one series of them. I'm pretty sure they're getting sent to dealers. If they haven't already, it'll be very soon. But yeah, there will be a spinning reel available.
It's pretty sick,
and it's been very good too. I don't know the ins and outs of the spinning reel deal. I just know it's got good drag and it's smooth and it throws a long way and it's light. So. But as far as like the really details like a bait caster, I try and use them as least amount as possible.
Yeah.
Until we go up north, I go above the Mason-Dixon line. That's all I got out there.
I was gonna say
I'm not dumb anymore. I'm not stupid.
Did Andy have to teach you how to use one when you came up here?
Yeah, pretty close. Pretty close. Yeah.
That's sick, man. Heck yeah. All right. Here's one that I'm intrigued by, and I'll start off with a little plug because I do want you to talk about it quick, Wes, because you're wearing it on your head, and I'm wearing it and wearing the T-shirt. Team Eliminated Water.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell people a little bit about the clothing line that you put out, but also some of the inspiration behind it, and then lead off with your one apparel item that you think is like clutch or most worn. It might have been your favorite for 2023.
Yeah. So do you want me to start with the apparel line or start with the apparel? Like
start with your apparel and then into.
Okay. Yeah. So basically I just kind of got with the guys at AFCO and we got involved with some of the people that do their, all their labeling and stuff. I don't really know what you call it when you are like, putting the stuff on the actual apparel. Mm-hmm. And we kind of decided to do some stuff. And I've got a buddy here back home that says that all the time, the Team Eliminating Water deal. And it's just always like when he says it, it's funny, but like if you really think about it, every time you're like practicing or something, guys like, how's it going? We know where they ain't. So I mean, it's just, and everybody that hears it, like, dude, that's freaking genius. And I'm like, well, it is what
trademark
it is. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, it was a pretty cool deal. We had the store open for I think 2 weeks, and I know we're going to open it back up probably sometime, back when the springtime comes up again. This was kind of just like a trial run to see how it went. Made a little, a Wes Logan logo. They were able to make that for me. I kind of like it. The hats are really cool. Probably might do like a deal where when it opens back up, have another little saying shirt because my buddy he's just slap full of them. But so all the I got to give all the credit to him on the Eliminating Water shirt to him for sure.
It got some laughs because I wore it for Christmas morning, and a couple of the guys in the family had some laughs about that.
Yeah, I was somewhere I think I was picking my boat up or something a couple of days ago. And a guy walked in there. I don't even know the guy. I mean, he knows who I am, but regardless of that, we were just talking. And another guy walked up and asked me, he's like, man, wasn't you fishing the other day or you go practice for something? He's like, yeah, man, I know where they're not. And I said, hey, I got a shirt for that.
That's awesome, dude.
Got a shirt for that. It was pretty good. But yeah, as far as apparel that's clutch, I've got to go with the AFCO Reaper. Like it's hard to beat, especially when it's cold. You got the little built-in neck thing. It's comfortable to wear. Like, it's easy to fish in. It's got that water-resistant material. It's pretty solid. Like, it's hard to beat, day in and day out in a cool situation. When it warms up, you can't really wear it. But if it's ever cold, it's hard to beat that.
Yeah, and I know we're not our show. We're with obviously Blackfish, but I'll give a plug here to that Africa Reaper too. Is that like my brother wears that in the woods because they made those timber camos.
I wear
those plug in that. Yeah, it makes for a great archery hoodie too.
Yeah, that's what I wear. They're really good turkey hunting. They got the mossy oak, the bottom land, and then whatever their new breakup design or something. But they also on the hunting plug deal, their little sun samurai shirts, the sun hooded ones. They built one, or they made one with a built-in face mask, and they've got it in the mossy oak stuff too. So it's legit, like turkey hunting stuff, or like when it's real hot, deer hunting.
Heck yeah, dude.
Yeah, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah, but real fast going back to that apparel line. One, obviously, you guys got to tune into social media for when that does come back online.
Yeah.
I encourage you guys to get that stuff. But I'm loving that you and like you see it like Jordan Lee makes the this like sucks deal. Like I love seeing these different things pop up because I think it brings just kind of some I don't know a better word besides like some comedy, some lighthearted lifestyleness to bass fishing, especially tournament fishing.
Yeah, it needs it. We need it right now for sure.
Yeah. It just creates some fun around it. Like we don't need to be so serious all the time. Like we're allowed to say a lake sucks. You know what I mean? Like
most of them do.
Yeah.
Being honest, like, 10 or 12 guys are gonna figure it out, but the majority of the time it freaking sucks. Like,
except
think about
for
it,
like Lake Ontario, St. Lawrence, Champlain.
Well, they don't even count. Like they don't. That's just unbelievable fisheries. But think about it. You go practice for 3 days for a tournament, and you find one area. The rest of the time, you was just eliminating water. Like it's
dead.
That's all you
dead
was doing.
water.
Yeah. My problem is I eliminate the good water 90% of the time, so it's just a lose for me.
Yeah. Lose.
Yeah, you get on watch Bass Live on day 4. You're like, damn, I practiced there for like 3 hours and had one bite. Probably should have stayed a little longer.
Yeah, that always feels like a slap in the face when you hear about it.
Happens all the time. Happens all the time. Timing, man. It's all about timing.
Oh, we got Paul in the comments chirping, asking how bad did Wes beat Andy the last time they went out together?
I didn't beat Andy. No. I'm not gonna. Andy just like sat down because he had done caught so many. He was like, "I'm just making you feel bad."
Yeah. Andy is the nicest. He's like a Canadian. He will chirp you, but you don't realize at the beginning that you're getting chirped because he.
I knew from the damn get go. Yeah, when I'm up there trying to figure out this freaking forward facing deal, the one I had on my boat at the time, I'm not gonna say nothing, but dude, it would hardly work. And he's just sitting back there in my passenger seat, just going, "Oh, I got one. There's a 4-pounder," and just boat flips it on the deck of the boat. And I'm like, "Okay, yeah." But yeah, it was a good time.
And then he'll walk up in front with you, and he'll pat you on the back. He goes, "You'll get it someday."
Yeah, absolutely.
He's like a Canadian, man. They're the nicest chirpers in the world.
We had fun the second day. Was it the second day we threw the jerkbait?
The second day, you whooped my butt with that jerkbait and the topwater. But
that was a blast.
It was blowing 80 miles an hour. It was awful, but yeah.
It was fun. They freaking train wrecked that jerkbait, and I caught that big one on a topwater too.
Oh yeah,
it didn't suck.
That didn't suck.
No,
in like inches of water. It was
it was worth driving however far, 15 hours up there for 2 days for that. I could have just turned around and went home. Like, I'm good.
That's awesome. Oh yeah. All right, Andy, what do you got apparel wise?
Oh, so I have two. I have the one sun shirt I wore basically every day in multiple different colors, which is the Blackfish Angler UPF sun hoodie. Super lightweight and it's like breathable, so it's great when it gets really hot out. And then the honorable mention is the Blackfish shorts. They're super comfortable. Wear them in the boat. Don't stick to your legs like cotton shorts do. And
wear them on a date.
Wear them on a date. Wear them on the golf course. Like they're incredible. I think I got like 10 pairs of them now. It's the only shorts I own.
Yeah, I think I have each color and each model
Yeah.
That's about all I wear in the summer until they have pants.
Yeah,
Because I'm all about those sun pants, man.
Same.
But yeah, dude, I'm straight in line with that. And I'll go on the flip side here from a cold weather side. And we talk about the Gale pullover all the time, but the one thing I do want to name for it is the Blackfish Arid gloves.
Oh,
those are freaking legit because there's not too many gloves out there that you can actually like have your fingertips covered and still be able to fish with somewhat efficiently. You can, of course, fish, but like your bird's nest in every other cast, and it's just a shit show for a lack of a better word.
Literally can't feel shit most of the time.
Yeah, exactly. And for those, it's pretty sick in regards to that you can
dunk them in the water.
Yeah, fish them like we're scooping these smallmouth in low 40-degree water, and you don't even notice the difference. It speaks pretty loud to us cold weather folk.
Yeah.
But definitely for folks, wintertime in the South, worth the grab, especially if you fish during the winter or early spring, that sort of deal. But
are they like neoprene?
No, not really.
No idea.
I just wondered how, when you saying you're dipping them in the water, I'm just wondering.
I had one pair that I basically wore like the seams out of after wearing them for like 50 days in a row.
Mm-hmm.
They have what I think is like a waterproof lining inside the glove. So they're like dual layered, and they're insulated on the inside, and then the outside they're not such a waterproof. They're kind of like a light neoprene, but they can absorb water. Then there's like a lining inside of them that makes them waterproof.
I got you. To keep it from getting to your hand.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I wore gloves through the side of them throwing a bait caster in the winter after like 50, 60 days, and I was still able to put my hand in the water, and they were waterproof.
Nice.
So yeah.
I wrote a note to ask specifically how that all works because I can tell people it works and I can show them a video evidence, but like when you ask me about that, I'm like,
Bailey, you got to know the details.
Yeah, that's above my
ins and outs. All right, bud.
Yeah,
that requires at least 2 brain cells, and I am one short of that.
Yeah. You're probably at a half right now after all them beers you've been drinking.
Yeah.
Hey. Oh man,
you ain't wrong.
Oh god.
Oh man, but yeah, I think that one nails it. Like, obviously, there's a bunch of brands out there that have some great products out there, but again, like this is just for us. What was clutch this year in 2023? And so with that, the next category is a piece of gear or equipment that isn't like a rod and reel, something that isn't a bait or anything like that, but like for example, like we can throw out there. I think all 3 of us can agree on it. X2 Power lithium batteries.
Oh, you took mine.
Well, I mean, you can start off with that.
I just have AGMs.
I've got AGMs.
Bulletproof.
Yeah.
I was just throwing out an example.
Yeah,
but by all means, feel free to take that as your own. But yeah, a piece of equipment that isn't like a fishing category, if that makes sense. That was big for us this year.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Wes. I'll let you go first.
I don't want to be this guy, but I would say probably my boat motor combination. I've been with Skeeter Yamaha since I made the Elites in 2020, and I don't want to jinx myself, but I've never had a single time when that motor has not gotten me back to weigh in. And I mean, the boat handles great in all kind of water, whether you're running in, coffee cup. That's a good one. Toilet paper would probably be a good one too. But anyways, dude wipes. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, it's hard to like everything that goes in the boat. Obviously, we got our X2 batteries, Minn Kota trolling motor, stuff like that, and our grass and all that good stuff. But the actual boat, the way it performs and the engine is just so reliable. Like that's got to be because I just don't think about it anymore. Like I can fish till the last second and know I'm going to get back. Like when I go to crank my motor from my batteries to the engine, like it's going to crank and get me back. It's just one less thing I have to worry about. It's being, an elite guy.
Yeah. Hell yeah. I can't relate to the motor part, but I can relate to reliability and weapons.
What if your paddles quit working? What if you got a bearing go out or something in your kayak?
Well,
like it holds up pretty good, don't it?
I'm shit out of luck.
I bring a paddle.
Yeah.
All right, now I got 3 forms of defense. I have a motor, I got pedals, and then the paddle. So one way or another, either if the paddle goes, I'm screwed.
Yeah, if all three go, there's something else happening on. Like,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, we got problems, big problems.
I just want to shout out this comment from John King as we were talking about apparel last thing. He goes, Andy gave me his Blackfish gear to wear on a guide trip, and I was hooked. His gentle hugs helped also.
Golly, I didn't get no gentle hug. Mine was more. I feel like mine was more aggressive than gentle. If we were going to lean one way or the other.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh man,
Andy, what about you, man? What do you got?
Oh, gear. There's a lot. Like, I think the 2 big ones would be like Lake Master chips and Navionics, because I run Navionics on my phone. So like, and then also the Omnia Premium Pro as well, with like all the new features they have on there.
Oh my.
Yeah, like the combination of all 3 on the boat when you're out idling for hours and hours and hours trying to find fish for a tournament or for a guide trip, or just try to find new spots in general. Like, if you take the 3 of them and you put them together, you're probably going to find something that's not on the map on all 3 maps, and you're going to have a hidden gem that hopefully nobody else has found yet. And I was able to find a couple spots like that on Buffalo this summer that I didn't see another boat on, and it came in clutch a couple times.
Wes, are you seeing any guys on tour start to use that Premium Pro app from Omnia?
Not that I know of. I know what you're talking about, but I haven't heard anything. I don't talk to a lot of guys. I'm just gonna be honest. So I don't really know. Like, when something's like really good, or like the deal, like that everything's hush hush, I'll find out about it about 12 months later. So kind of where I'm at on that. So, but no,
you're last on the list.
Yeah, and you're definitely not getting it from us right off the bat.
Yeah,
we find out 8 months later. So
yeah, I definitely don't get that updated email like the you're in the group text or the group email where everybody figures something out, and you're like, damn, they lost my number on that one. They slipped me on that one. And then like
the
4 or 5 times later, you're like, yeah, I think they're not putting it in there on purpose. So.
Yeah. You bastards.
You got some bad friends.
It ain't that. I just
blame Atkins.
Yeah, I mean, I literally talked to like 5 people on the elite, so like at the most.
Yeah, I feel that. But yeah, and Andy stole that one from me. That Premium Pro is
sorry.
No, it's okay. It's pretty legit. Like in regards to when you can cross-reference different mapping apps, but they literally have like a temperature feature where you can pull up, say, like, trying to go through your schedule again and just make sure I'm not listing out Felonier Lake names. Say you fall in Oklahoma. You can go pull it up, and there's a temperature map. Or say early spring, you can see which part of the lakes are warming up faster than the rest. And then there's also even a bottom hardness map where you can see like certain parts of like a point or things like that have harder bottom. And the one that's interesting, I don't know how accurate it is. They don't even know how accurate it is yet. It has to be tested more. But they have a vegetation layer where you can see what parts of the lake have more vegetation, where the concentrations of either submerged or floating vegetation are. It's pretty intriguing. They have a bunch of different layers that go on that. To me, I'm sitting there, I'm looking at it, I'm like, this has got to be up there at Google Maps in regards to especially time of year where this could play.
Yeah.
But yeah, that thing's freaking legit. For me, because we did X2 power batteries. And he did the Premium Pro. I'm trying to think of what else I might use. We got people talking about Hobie eyewear in the chat. Yes, sunglasses are an absolute must. Dude, one that I don't want to say this is a.
It's got to be your Torpedo, because you go 2 miles per hour faster.
You know what? That is a really good one, because it helps me be really lazy in regards to I can just use the motor and graph. I don't have to use my legs anymore, which is what I also have to go back.
Eat more greens.
Yeah, eat more greens to go back to the gym. But I'm going to give this a shout out right now, because I've been playing around with it, because I've been using a tandem of it and Live to see how these bass behave from it and if it's actually legit. Trying to like keep note of it and kind of create a experiment, if you will. But the TH Marine Hydrowave, using that around fish, and when I turn it on, be looking at fish already on live and see if they act anything different. I've noticed instances where it doesn't do anything. I've noticed instances where it scared them off. I've noticed instances where it literally, as soon as I turn it on, they go absolutely bonkers. So it's kind of interesting. I don't think my control group is as big as I'd like it to be yet, but I need to give it a shot because there definitely seems like certain instances it can ignite something, especially on a fishery that has. I'm leaning towards it being better when there's a higher population of shad versus if it like doesn't have any shad. That makes any sense. Certain settings on it are interesting. Like they have a vegetation setting, like if you're punching and stuff like that, which I feel like kind of goes against the whole idea of being stealthy when you're punching, things like that. But
maybe it's trying to mimic like crawfish, like scurrying around in the grass.
Yeah. Either way, I'm just thinking it's interesting, and I hope to actually do a full deeper dive on it later this year. But equipment wise, it's something a little bit different. Do you run a Hydrowave, Wes?
No, I don't. I've never had one on my boat actually, and I'm not saying they don't work. I've just never had one.
Have you heard anything from anybody like in talking to people about it?
I mean, I know a bunch of guys run them. I don't know if they're just running them because TH wants them to run them, but I mean, I'm sure there's been times where it's helped. I just can't figure out like. So the transducer setup, pinging, like it clicks underwater. You can hear it. I know the forward facing's making some kind of noise or making them feel something. Like there's no way they can't. So how has the Hydrowave, like how does it make it a different sound? You understand what I'm saying? Like, like it may be a different clicking or a different, vibration that they can feel, but I don't know how it can. If that fish is feeling all that going on, how does it know to decipher like, oh, this is what I'm wanting to hear? I guess it's maybe if like you're in a crowded room or something and there's people talking and yelling and then a song comes on that you want to hear, like you're still gonna hear the song, I guess. Like I guess that would be a good
science, Wes. Science. It's above our heads.
Yeah. You got science, and then you got like, damn, how does that make sense? Like,
yeah,
I get it.
Like I mean, I feel like I'm not a smart dude at all, but like sometimes I'm like, damn, like not that. Just I'll see something in the industry and I'm like, that makes no sense to me.
I think there's a lot of things in the industry.
I'm just like,
no sense.
How in God's name are y'all selling that? And then come to find out they're really not. So
this is my favorite quote to ever come out of ICAST, and it was, "Just because you can release something doesn't mean you should."
Absolutely. 100%. Yeah.
That's
a good one.
Maybe, Andy, we need to stockpile that and talk with Steve Barden, our fisheries biologist friend, about that.
I would like I said, I'm not saying I know anything. That's like when I think about it, I'm like, that's kind of like it's hard to figure out.
No, I mean, I'm in the same boat with you. It's just it's one that has been interesting for me, just in regards to. I'm not saying it works, and I'm not saying it doesn't. It's one testing out right now in different scenarios and kind of seeing. Especially the fact that we can see fish with forward and just like looking at them, not even like fishing for them, but like turning it on and see, do they start behaving any different?
Yeah.
Do they start reacting any different? You know what I mean?
I've always wondered, have you been able to use it? Not trying to get us off topic. Have you ever used it like around the actual bait instead of the fish? Like I've always wondered if it makes the bait like get fired up, which would make the fish in turn, just predatory instinct wise. I
did once heavily. Or on a heavy bait, like they had a lot of heavy, forage and everything like that. It was a very heavy population. That's the word I'm looking for of bait. And I was around some bait clouds, and in the instance that I used it around bait, when I turned it on, they seemed to skirt away, and then bass would start feeding on them as they moved away. Yeah. But I don't know if that was igniting them or them just being scared from it and just moving. You know what I mean? And then in that same instance, I was catching them just as good without turning it on as anyway. So I was just like, I'm just gonna roll without it. But it's just it's an interesting one. I definitely want to do a deeper dive later and talk with Steve, our fisheries biologist buddy, about that. And he's passing off his cough on me. Okay, sorry. We got 2 left. Oh, you're good. We got 2 left. And one is we'll end with this one, but we'll the next one. Let's do your best or your biggest fail of the year. It doesn't have to be like anything sad or anything. It could be like something funny, like hit the trolling motor wrong and send your butt flying in the water type of deal.
Oh, I didn't do that. I think my biggest fail of the year was back. I want to say it was in May. I'm fishing in an absolute crowd of people in Lake Erie because it's May and it's bumper boats when it's flat calm out there. And I was cracking a tube on my clutch and like 10-pound test. And I went to boat flip like a 5.5, 6-pounder, and it broke. And my line sounded like a shotgun snap. And I literally watched everyone in turn and look at my boat and like start laughing. And I was like, I don't care. I catch so many, but I felt like really dumb at that moment. So I'd say that was probably my biggest fail of the year. Trying to boat flip fish that big.
Dude said, I don't care. I catch so many. It don't matter.
Yeah.
I think I literally sat down, retied, threw back out there, and caught another one, and did the same exact thing, and got that one came in. So,
Wes, you got any? We can come back to you.
Yeah, I mean, I do so much.
Circle back again.
I do so much stupid shit, dude. Like it just. Like,
you gotta give yourself more credit, Wes. Come on.
Look, dude, if something could be screwed up or broke, I can do it. Promise you that.
Well, I'll say if you got one top of mind, obviously let it rip. But if you need a second thinking about it, this year I was rolling down to Harris Chain back in February, I think it was. Excuse me. I was rolling down to the Harris Chain and got about a good. And mind you, I have the truck at this point. I am bringing the kayak with me. Load up everything the day before. Leave about 5 in. It's about 6:15. Turning off the highway to go grab I think it was just Red Bull or coffee, whatever. And I pull in the gas station and I park. And I go to walk in the gas station. I look back at my truck, keep walking. I do a double take, look back at my truck, and I'm like, "You idiot! You left your freaking kayak back at the house."
Oh my god!
Went almost an hour and a half down the road. I forgot to even put the kayak in the back of the truck, so I had to go all the way back, throw it in, which it was pretty funny. My fiance at the time was like, "Why are you back? What are you doing here?" It was pretty comical.
Don't worry about it. I left my brain at home again.
Yeah, I've done a lot of stuff like that. That stems back to my youth days. I'd go. I had a hockey tournament once in Chicago and forgot my entire hockey bag when we got to Chicago.
Oh my god! Dude.
So did you just buy new equipment?
No, I know my dad drove it out.
Thank God for Dad.
That's my parents, man. They put up with a lot with me.
Yes, I understand that completely. I don't know if I have a failure one. I have more of a like head and ass moment. So the first day at Lay Lake, I thought I was going to be cute and, run all this stuff. And I ended up, dude, Lay Lake's not that big. Like, I'm going to say it's 50 something miles from dam to dam. It may be a little, I don't know. But so I ended up burning almost a whole tank of gas on this little ass lake. I saw both dams and caught 3 that weighed 4 pounds. So just looking back on it, I'm like, dude, just fish. Like I had to be everywhere I stopped. I was like, I need to go here. And then I'd stop. I'm like, I don't need to be here. I need to be here. And next thing I know, I'm at the freaking Logan Martin Dam. And I'm like, well, they're not biting up here. So I'd run 45 minutes back the other way to the other dam. And by that time the day's over, I'm like, I guess it's time to go in now. I guess.
Great success.
Yeah, probably the stupidest thing I've ever done, like fishing wise. Just dumb
no Bill Dance moments.
No, I mean, I don't really. Dude, I don't like fall. I've never fell out of my boat. Like I don't know. I've never done that. I don't know if I'm real. Like I feel like I'm pretty careful. Like I've gotten a lot better. Like paying attention. I mean, that's the biggest thing. Like just pay attention and try and. I don't know. I used to be a basket case like mentally, and I feel like I've gotten a lot. Well, it's not me. It's Riley. Riley's gotten me a lot more grounded. Like I've got lists to check off, so I don't leave stuff like my boat. Like don't hook my boat up and drive off. But yeah, so
it's always good to have a good woman.
Yes, right. Absolutely. I mean, the worst one I've ever done, I guess, was like
this comment's pretty funny.
That's not bad. That's
Anthony Guy says real fast, not to interrupt Wes here, but he says I've had to go buy bolt cutters to cut the locks to get the kayak out of the truck. Tried asking a cop first, and he just laughed at me. Rightfully so. That's pretty good.
golly. Yeah.
Go ahead.
The worst one I've ever done, like 2 years ago, I was getting home from at the end of the year, we did a riders conference, and I got home and my boat was going to be, the guy that bought it was going to pick it up the next day. And I was pulling the wrap off of it. And for some reason, I'd parked it in the sun, so it'd be easy to get the wrap off. And there's a little, like in the driveway, there's like a little, like a little ditch kind of where the water will run. Well, I had pulled it. I thought I'd fell off into the ditch with the tires, and I didn't. And it was still on that little bit of an incline, and Riley was in the truck. Well, I just jumped out and unhooked the boat, and I took the chains loose. Dude, when it come off that ball, it was gone, like gone going down through the yard. I'm talking about flying. Dude, I'm like running down there to get it. Like I catch it like 50 yards down through there, and I'm like trying to get the jack to like break over. I'm trying to get something to happen, and I put my left foot like behind the wheel of the jack, and my foot like broke the jack up, like, and the boat hit the ground, like the tongue hit the ground and slid a little ways, but it shattered my foot, like it destroyed it, like. But yeah, it was bad.
Jeez.
And I'm down there like on the ground, like holding my foot, like just like, what in the hell just happened? Like, because dude, it was going right towards the house, like it was gonna go through the house, ruin the boat, like it was like bad because it was all downhill.
You better have Progressive, man. Like,
oh, dude, Progressive, State Farm, none of it would have mattered at that point. Like everything would have been destroyed. But she like gets out of the truck, and there's a video of it. I think she put it on TikTok, my TikTok or something. But it was like she's way up there. She's like, "What the hell's going on?" It's not good.
Yeah, I broke my foot.
It was bad. Boat was fine. I had to go buy a new jack where it broke it off the trailer. But boat was fine. But my foot was, dude, it destroyed it. Like
For good.
Oh yeah, dude. I was in a boot for like long time. I mean, it happened in September. I think I was in a boot until like January, and it's still like it's not. But I mean, I'll break my foot 1,000 times for that boat to stop right there. Like, but yeah, that was a bad one. Dumbest thing ever. I will never unhook a boat again in my life and unhook those chains first. No, it's always last.
Yeah, and make sure you have like a block behind the rear tire.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, for sure.
These are all things that I will end up doing once I get a boat. I can assure you that.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
last
I have
one.
to be real careful on my new driveway because it's like a downward slope into the road. So if I unhook it without something blocking the tire, my boat will just roll through my truck into the road.
You just take off.
It'll be gone.
That's petrifying.
Yeah.
All right. Last one of the night. We'll cap it off and let you go here, Wes. But best moment of 2023. What was the highlight for you?
Does it have to be fishing related?
You could do both. You could do non-fishing and fishing. I mean, I'm sure we already talked about what the non-fishing.
Well, yeah, the non-fishing was 100%. Getting married for sure. Fishing wise, I don't know. I mean, I would say fishing wise, not even on tour. Probably I fished there's a big tournament here at the house that me and Dad fish all the time. It's a kind of a Neely Henry trail type deal, but it's a big tournament, like big money, and we actually were able to win it. I think for the third or fourth time. But just getting to fish with him, like when I'm always gone, it's really fun, and we had a really special day. So it's definitely a day I'll never forget. I mean, it was probably the highlight of this year fishing wise.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, it was a blast. Like it was really good.
Jack,
that is always one thing that I've seen. Yeah. Like I remember you posting that. I remember seeing other guys post about when they fish either with their dad or their grandpas, things like that. Tournaments where they're on the boat. Where I got a little bit of that growing up. Wasn't like to that extent, obviously, because we just had like a crappy old bayliner that my dad we'd float half a lake just throwing sluggos, thinking we were experts.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, I definitely, one of my bigger motivations to get a boat is exactly that, to take my brother fishing.
Yeah.
Just to get all that back,
Yeah.
That's cool, man. I love that. That's your highlight.
Dude, I mean, being on the elites it's a huge blessing, like to fish for a living. But it's not the same like as growing up, like fishing with whoever, like your team partner or your buddy or your dad or like it's when you get to go do that, dude. All the stress is gone. Like you just go fishing. It's a blast. Like I love it.
You probably end up fishing better too. Because
100%. I'm not worried about how many points I'm gonna need in this tournament to not freaking lose my job.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot funner. You fish better, and a lot of times you're fishing like stuff like you're fishing at home, so you just go fish. They either gonna bite or they're not, or you're not have to worry about this and that and all that good stuff.
I hear that, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Andy, what about you, man?
Oh man, 2023 was full of highlights, right? Like Nora was born, bought a new house like a month before she was born. Got my new boat in 2022, had probably my best summer of guiding ever. Won the big local tournament on the lake. Yeah, it's a good year. Good year.
Yeah, man.
You.
For me, obviously, a lot of non-fishing related good things happened this year. But fishing specifically, had a pretty rough go at the national stuff. Obviously, me being the guy in the kayak of the group here. But we had our first ever New York Invitational that was set up by all of the local kayak bass fishing chapters in New York. So we had guys from Long Island to the Adirondacks to Central New York to ours at New York Kayak Bass Fishing, and it was the top 10 AOI from each. I think it was 6 different leagues around New York State convened for a top 60. And it was like there was a team deal, but also like there could be an individual winner as like the New York Invitational winner. I ended up winning that. I'd say just that was one pretty cool, but also just to see each trail come together. It was actually a really well put on event, and something pretty high scale, especially for New York here, kayak fishing wise, was a pretty cool scene for me anyway. Just seeing all that put together and seeing it in New York, which for whatever reason it doesn't have much representation on the national scale. It was cool to see all that competitiveness in the home state. But yeah, I'd say for sure that one was probably the biggest highlight for me. But a lot of good was had fishing and non-fishing in 2023, I think, for all of us. But nonetheless, some good conversation today, fellas. I'm sure we missed some categories that people are like, why didn't you talk about best of this for this year? But 2023 was a great year. Wes, thank you for joining us here tonight. Hope you guys had a great Christmas. Anything you want to cap it off with for the end of the year, or anything that's coming up for 24 for you before the Elite Series season?
Now, just appreciate all the guys that support us, the companies that support us, and like guys like you that let us get on here and talk about our sponsors, and we get to talk about fishing and teach people how to go catch those stupid fish that swim around.
Yeah. Well, you always got a seat on here, buddy.
Absolutely. I appreciate you guys. I hope y'all have a good New Year if I don't talk to you, and thank you for having me.
Thank you, buddy.
Yeah, y'all be good.
All right, man. Take care.
See you.
Always a pleasure having Mr. Wes Logan here on the show. Very jealous of the old party they had. Him and Riley had to celebrate their marriage. Unfortunately, Andy and I were not able to attend, and it's probably good that we didn't, because when you get the two Northern Buffalo guys that don't drink light beer, we drink heavy beer, we probably would have been rambunctious and been like, who are these two idiots that are here down in Alabama? But nonetheless, congrats to the Logans, and fun show. It feels a little bit weird, honestly. I have to apologize. I feel like, I don't know what it was. It's like this week hiatus I've somewhat taken from technology. I feel sloppy, so I apologize tonight if I sound like a dunce. But nonetheless, you and Wes picked up the pace, and it was a great show, highlighting some 2023 best ofs. And we got one more show until the first of the year, and things are, of course, going to be changing here on Serious Angler. We have some new stuff coming for you guys. We're still going to have some topics and angler interviews, things like that, but we're actually adding to the show. And it might take us like a week off here to kind of get things right and make sure we have it on par for you guys and set it up and done right. But should we just make them wait till Friday, or should we tell them now?
Nah, just make them wait.
Yes, sir. And you said so.
Yeah,
Dad says so.
cliffhanger.
Well, what we'll do is we'll have a show later this week. We'll decide if we want to do it live or not. But nonetheless, we will tell you guys everything that's coming that's new, and kind of give you a sneak peek as to what the 2024 year looks like for us here at Serious Angler, but also the Serious Angler Podcast Network as a whole. But pretty exciting stuff. And thank you again to Wes for joining us. If you guys think we missed any categories, drop them down. We might try to sneak them in the next episode, but let us know what you think. And as always, appreciate you guys for tuning into the show live. We are going to have a lot more of those next year. So more time for you guys to tune in and things like that. So Andy, anything else for the folks before we our second to last show of 2023?
Oh, man. One thing I will want to say is thank you to everyone who listens here and has booked a guide trip with me. And if you are new here and you haven't made it up to Buffalo yet, I'd highly recommend doing so in spring or July. I'm going to change around my guiding schedule a little bit this summer. Probably going to guide more through July and take a lot of August and the beginning of September off before it gets good again, like end of September, early October. But on that note, I'm almost full for April through the beginning of July. So I have limited dates left to get them on the books. So if you really want to get up here and catch some bass, I'd recommend booking your day shortly.
Heck yeah, dude. Well, folks, you guys are all amazing. And as we said, if you can leave us a rating and review, especially on MP3 and Spotify. We mentioned it a little bit, but for folks that I owe stickers to, we're going to order some Serious Angler decals, some fun ones, maybe some brownfin tuna decals, things like that. Have some fun with it. If you guys leave us a rating and review on the app, if it allows you to, we'll send a screenshot either on social media or email to us, and we'll send you out some free decals. Again, it doesn't cost you anything. Just give us an honest rating review. You could tell us, hey, you guys suck. I asked though, if you do tell us we suck, tell us how we can improve. Be brutally honest. It's perfectly fine by us. We're not asking you to lie or anything like that. But the rating and review is appreciated. It just helps the show be seen more, which helps us, and then what helps us turn around and create a better production for you guys. So ask you to do that. That is my Christmas wish of you all. And again, we'll extend this out a little bit further as we get some more decals in. We'll send you all out. If you DM us or email us, we'll send you guys out some little care package. But Andy, great show tonight, folks. Appreciate you guys as always, and we'll see you later this week. Peace.